What's going on this afternoon in the building? Welcome once again to one and only on a very unscheduled time, but here we are. Welcome to the big time show, nonetheless, that is being seen and heard live in a lot of different places. I haven't had the chance to say hello to some of my people on Instagram in a while, but I'm on Instagram right now as we speak. What's going on to you over there? I want to say welcome back to a family that has not been with us in a very long time, and I don't know if I will even get one person there. I think people done gave up on me over there in Twitch land. I am live in Twitch live on Twitch right now. I am live on Twitch. Some of you may have my old stuff there. I don't know if you have it, but if you do, shoot, I forgot. I even forgot what is my handle over the Lord today. Let me see if I even have that in my file here, just so I could show you guys. You know, some of you may want me on Twitch. I don't know. But I am there as well. And I do not have it here. So I don't even want it. I think it's big time _ 2573 or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have that for you next time. But I'm live there on Twitch as we speak right now. If you go to, I don't know. I'm trying to see if I even have it here, and I don't. Well, hello to the Twitch family. I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. We're gonna try to see if we can build up that channel again to where it once was. It's been a minute, but I'm there now. Want to say hello to everybody. I see you, Stephen Clicker and Robert. Y'all the only two that have spoken so far, unless I have some over there on Instagram. Let me check that out real quick. I'm sorry. Let me check that out. To those that are Instagram land. Let's see. Yes, I see. I can't even pronounce this, but hello over there in Instagram land. What's going on over there? Welcome to the show, everybody. Hey, I hope that you would share. Hope that you would like. Hello to those there in Kick over there as well. Over there in Kick. Hello to you as well. Listen, I hope that you would. Hold on a second. Hope that you would share. Hope that you would definitely hit that like page. I hope that you would do that. I mean, that would be so nice if you did that. That would be great. If you hit that that like button there, click it. Want you to know that that'll help your boy out. Let's shake up the algorithm a little bit, if you don't mind. It would be nice, to do that. Let me share this to my personal page. I usually don't do that, but I'm going to do it today. I'm going to do it today. I usually don't do that, but I will now. I will do that now. Yeah, I'll do that now. Why are the Jones so cheap? Who is this? Okay. I'll get into that in a second, but I really want to talk about Coach Schottenhimer today. Some of you have heard his press conference on today. If you did, it happened maybe about an hour ago now. Coach Schottenhimer had his press conference. A couple of things that were asked that I think is worth talking about here today, for this moment at least. Let me see here. Y'all forgive me, I'm trying to get my stuff straight. And I believe I'm going to have to do that while I'm talking to you. But let's go ahead and just kick it off real quick. Coach Schottenhimer got up there today, talked about, in particular, the question that everybody wants to know about, and that is, of course, George Pickens, in which there is no new news other than him saying that he had spoken to George. Of course, George Pickens is not there it's voluntary. Coach Schottenhimer made sure that everybody understood that is no penalty for him not being there. But the cat I guess I ain't gonna say the cat was let out of the bag, but he did let everyone know that George had his football camp, and that could be easily verified for those that don't believe it or whatever. He has his football camp, and of course, there's obligations there. So obviously, he was not going to be there for the workouts with the team. There's voluntary again. He does not have to be there. There are no fines for George Pickens for not being there. But there was a question asked to Coach Schottenhimer, asking him about the next meeting with the team that is voluntary, and asking would he like him there. Of course, Coach Schottenhimer said, of course, yes, I would like him there, and hadn't had a chance to talk to him really about that. But we all know Coach Schottenhimer wants him there. You remember last year he wanted Michael Parsons there as well. And Michael did show up, but we know how that turned out. When he did show up, it's almost like he shouldn't even been there with some of the things that he was doing on the sidelines. He didn't hold out. He just held in. He was there, but, you know, he kind of made it obvious that he was not, you know, all for it. So don't know if that's what George would do. Don't have a clue. Don't know if that's what's all, you know, what he would do, but he just wants him there. I believe his teammates wants him there. There was another question that came up about him working out with Dak. As you know, for years, Dak has done this with his receivers for years. Always had some, you know, guys could, at least you remember Dak before he moved out of his house. He had the football field there in his backyard, you know, 50-yard field goal. I mean, a 50-yard football field there, and he would bring the receivers that was there, and they work out, get their timing together. Just keeping everything the way it was. Now, George, CD, and Dak have already done this. I don't know. I'm quite sure Dak will have something scheduled between now and the time that they have to be there again. And I would, you know, I don't have no way of verifying it, but I would bet that Dak will have something scheduled to where there's some work done between him and his receivers again. I bet that's the case. Knowing Dak was subject to have a whole team there. He's that much of a leader, as we all know. And I believe George is getting some work in that way as of now. So the cloud, if you want to say that, to make a long story short, the cloud of George Pickens being there or him not being there is still lingering over this organization. Potential drama, and it very well could be no drama. Because one thing about it, we have not heard anything from George Pickens. And so it is wrong to put words in his mouth, and at the same time, it is wrong for us to assume that everything is smooth. You just don't know. You just don't know, and I'm not fit to sit here and do like everybody else. You know, it really ain't no sense of playing too many guessing games. You know, if he's there and he's practicing, and everybody's just gonna be quiet. If he's not there, it'll be the latest news that'll lead off ESPN and all that type of stuff. And it'll be typical cowboy off season. There's always some type of drama going on with us, but we're used to it. I believe that in week 1, I believe George Pickens will be there when we line up against the Giants. I believe he will get there. That's all I've always said that. and we will see. So everything else that you're hearing is speculation. Some folks may love doing a speculation show. I could do that, but I'm not. Uh, I'm not about to do all that. If he show up, fine. If he don't show up, that's fine too. Um, that's all. That's really. I'm serious. I don't really don't have time for it. I'm not blaming George at all. And at the same time, contrary to a lot of my brothers and fellow cowboy content creators, I'm not blaming the Jones either, because the Jones are doing, as far as George Pickens is concerned, they're doing what they think is best for business as of now. We all know that Jerry and Steven do not want to pay two receivers over $70 million. We know that ain't the Jones way. You know what I'm saying? We know that's not how the Jones roll. We know that. It'll be shocking to go back to the question, whoever that was that asked why the Jones so cheap. Well, and I'm not trying to be a butthole about it or ask in a very small way. The reason why they're cheap is because they're not expensive. That's why they are not expensive at all. And the idea or the thought of them paying two guys like that, if you've been a Cowboy fan for a while, this really should not be a surprise. It should surprise you. As a matter of fact, it should surprise you to think that they are going to they're going to even give him the franchise tag. I mean, I know we use the franchise tag, but I'm saying it's even crazier just to believe that they're paying that amount of money. It really is. That's expensive enough. They think $28 million or $27 million is expensive as well. So once you really think about that, you really got to be saying like, wow. As I've always said, as I've told you guys many times, so far I haven't been proven wrong. I've told you guys that I thought we were just renting George Pickens in the first place, because I already knew that if he had a good year, we weren't going to be able to pay him. I knew that, because not that we can't. It's just that it just goes against Jerry's way. It really is. It just don't go with it. He said that he was in a very good spot. George Pickens, that is. That's what Schottenhimer said. He's got, obviously there's been conversation. I'm going to assume it was a nice conversation between him and his coach. But it remained to be seen until he shows up. And that's when I will give my final whatever on the situation, at least starting out for the year. So that's all I really got to say about George. There ain't no new news. It's really the same old thing. Sit and wait. We just sit and wait. And we wait and see exactly what's going to happen there. Now, I really don't, not really, a lot of the same old stuff. However, there was one thing that I think is worth talking about, and then I'll let you guys go. Some of you are on lunch break or about to leave your job or whatever. He started talking about Tyler Guyton. And when he started talking about Tyler Guyton, I just listened to him because he talks about Tyler Guyton as if he's almost seemed like they're begging somebody to come take their left tackle spot for it, because if you keep listening to Schottenheimer, it seems as if Guyton has not progressed. And that may be just me reading in between the lines, but he said, "Listen, Guyton is he's working hard. I've heard that before. He's such a big man. I've heard that before, and he's working very hard to do that. But he said, but his problem has been consistency. Now, the reason why I'm locking in on this is because that's the same thing he was saying last year. So the way I look at it is from last year, and here we are this year, and we're saying essentially the same exact thing. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. And of course, he hadn't played anybody, so it leans toward a red flag. Let me put it that way. It leans toward a red flag. It may not be exactly one, but it's leaning toward a red flag. And I'm not sure if Guyton is it. And I say it with quotation marks there. I'm not sure if Tyler Guyton is it. And that's bad to say considering how important the left tackle position is. And we're talking about protecting Dak Prescott blindside. But that's one spot that you need to be sure of real quickly. So he already kind of said it today. If you haven't listened, go back and listen to the press conference today from Coach Schottenhimer. You'll hear him say Nate Thomas' name as if this is a battle for the left tackle spot. And I'm going to be honest with you, I believe that it is. But here's my question. Because if it is a battle for the left tackle spot, then where would the battle happen at? Because certainly you're not going to let Tyler Guyton get his head built up and gassed up and thinking he's going to gain a whole lot of confidence playing preseason games against guys that worked at Jiffy Lube last week. You see what I'm saying? Which going to lead to my last point. Then I'll let you guys go. You're not going to get confidence. It makes no sense to get confidence on guys that played, that worked at your local Walmart last week. Because a lot of you thinking, okay, well, let them battle it out in the preseason and all that. Well, keep in mind that the Cowboys do not allow their starters to play in the preseason. We've done that for the last 2 years. That's with Schottenhimer as coach. That was with Mike McCarthy as well. They didn't play him. So it's not going to be answered in the preseason game. And they asked, they didn't ask Coach Schottenhimer that today, but he alluded to, he said, well, you guys know how our preseason strategy is. What's up, Biscuit? I see. Yeah, Terry. They down there exactly bagging groceries last week. So Tyler Guyton should look good against people like that, but I don't think he's gonna get the chance to play in the preseason. I don't think that Nate Thomas will play in the preseason either. So the battleground is gonna be at practice. Well, here we go again. How will you know that they're legit from practice? Because most of the practices, they're not going full speed because there are whistles involved. They usually don't want people to get to the ground, all that type of stuff. It is what it is. But the question is answered by what Coach Schottenhimer said today. If you did not see it, here it is. He said that they will have joint practices with the Saints and the Rams. Oh, yeah. The Rams. Which means if you want to find out who the best left tackle is, put him over there and let Myles Garrett go one-on-one. And I believe that's exactly what they're going to do. It's not going to be it's practice. So let Guyton and Nate Thomas go one-on-one with Myles Garrett and with the Rams and the other pass rushers that they have. Let Nate Thomas get a piece of that action too. And that's probably going to determine your winner. That's not counting all that can be done in practice. Even though they're being shorts and stuff, you still can put shoulder pads on and, of course, a helmet. You still got to block a guy on the edge. Just can't take it. You can't, you just can't hit the quarterback. But you can rush the passer. So between Gary, Izaraku when he practices fully, Sam Williams, Overton, between that and then the joint practices with the Saints and the Rams, I believe that your answer will be on who will be our left tackle. I think the jury is still out because of the way, if you go back and listen to Schottenhimer talk about it, you kind of figure like there ain't nothing set in concrete there. And I just think that, what better way? You're going to find out real quick because in practice, when you got joint practices, I'm not putting a tight end over there in practice now to help out the left tackle with somebody like Myles Garrett. No, I got questions, so I need to see how he handles one-on-one Myles Garrett. Switch Guyton out, put Nate Thomas in. Let Nate Thomas go against Myles Garrett. But you know what I'm saying? That's if Myles Garrett even do it. I'm just saying, let's be honest about it. They're the Rams are not going to put Myles Garrett in too much danger. He don't need training camp. The more I think about it, I don't know if I would even do that then because I hate to have some type of freak. I know you can't play like that. I know you can't practice like that, anticipating the injury, but Myles Garrett don't need no training camp. I'm just saying, he don't. You can put Myles Garrett in a glass box and just and take the box off in week 1 and let's roll. Them guys are going to get their work, but you don't want to take a chance of him getting hurt. But if they do allow that, if Sean McVay allows Myles Garrett to go when we have our joint practice, that will be the answer to our question about who is the best left tackle on this team. I think the jury is still out. I think that the Cowboys don't trust Guyton. I believe it. I think they're essentially saying that, he really has to step up. And for them to be saying, well, not them, but for Coach Schottenhimer to be saying essentially the same exact thing. Exactly, William. You got both on both sides. So, the more I think about it, you're not going to see Guyton or Nate Thomas in preseason games. I don't think you will. Neither one. And I think that it's going to be right there in those joint practices with the Saints and the Rams. That's going to answer everything. Everything, really. Seriously. Yeah, in one team, just with the Rams, since William just said they got Young over there on the other side, Young and Garrett, you'll find out everything you need to know real quick. I mean, it ain't gonna take long to find out either. You ain't gonna have to see it all day. You can just watch the first couple series, and that will give you all the answers you need to know. And I wouldn't give no tight end help. I wouldn't give no running back. You can't hit the quarterback anyway in those practices, so you ain't got to worry about that. Uh, I wouldn't give neither one of them no help. It's mano y mano. Let's see if you can block this first step that Garrett got. Let's see if you can handle that bull rush that Garrett has. Let's see if you can handle the counter when he goes outside and then spins back inside, or vice versa. I let him go one on one, and if he get destroyed, guess what? He just get destroyed. But guess what? You got your question answered. So I actually like the fact when I heard Coach Schottenhimer say that today about the joint practices that we're gonna have with two different teams. That's outstanding. That's outstanding. I was glad to hear that because by the time we get to those folks, those guys gonna be so tired of hitting folks, and y'all already know a camp fight gonna happen. Y'all know that, don't you? You know that just is just the folks gonna get tired of banging to each other, and all that type of stuff. They'll be glad to see the Rams or the Saints come in, just so they can get, fresh meat. You hit the new guys, so I'm quite sure they'll be ready by that time to do that. So that was very interesting when he said that, and I believe that the left tackle spot, if you want, I just say it like this. I'll say that as of now, Guyton has the edge, but it's not a gap there. It's not a real big gap there. If Nate Thomas plays well, he very well could take Guyton's job. And Guyton has got to keep Nate Thomas off of him. In other words, he has to play well to keep his job. I think the Cowboys it's too big of a year to be so shaky from the left tackle position. You just can't go in, especially since you know who we're playing week one. I mean, week one will be a test anyway. The Giants, one thing, whatever you want to say about them, one thing about them, they got legit pass rush between Brian Burns and Abdul Carter. Thibodeau is still there as of now. Thank God that Lawrence is gone. Dexter Lawrence is gone. You understand what I'm saying? So you better find out real quick what you have at left tackle. I mean, the first 3 weeks are just loaded. I mean, Baltimore has Trey Hendrickson. And trust me, the word gonna get out real quick if Guyton is trash. And, or Nate Thomas is struggling. The word is gonna get out. And if they stick one of those guys out, if they stick Guyton out there and everybody know he's struggling, please understand that the best pass rusher gonna slide his way right on over there where Guyton is. And you're gonna have to get a tight end over there. You're gonna have to have a running back chip the pass rusher. You're gonna have to, because you already know what's gonna happen if you don't. So there's a lot of questions. I mean, there's a lot of questions that's about to be answered as far as Tyler Guyton goes. Either we're gonna be extremely confident with him, or we're gonna let Nate Thomas get his shot. And I think it's a short leash. If I'm just listening to Schottenhimer, then I'm remembering last year, and I remember how Guyton struggled, and I remember how they tried to pump up Nate Thomas last year. Y'all remember that? They really tried to pump him up like he was the answer. So I think that they like Nate Thomas. Then, of course, they like Nate Thomas because he's cheaper. You already know that's a part of the plan. How much is guy getting paid? Bam. How much is Nate Thomas getting paid? Bam. Oh yeah, we like Nate Thomas. Yeah, because if he gets an extension, he won't be asking for much, in opposed to a first round pick, Tyler Guyton, who gonna ask for everything. He cheap. Y'all know how they are. Both of them struggled. Biscuit. Both of them struggled. Both of them. That's why I was saying, like, that's why I say it's a fight. It's a fight. And when you're talking about aspirations of having a good season, the last spot, one of the last spots you need that should, that has question marks should not be is your left tackle. It just shouldn't be that way. Shouldn't be that way. So here we are. It is what it is. Now, Myles Garrett gone to the Rams. Listen, I'm not gonna get excited or scared of the Rams. I'm not. I'm not gonna do that because how many times have we seen teams be loaded and expectations are that they're going to the Super Bowl or they're gonna win the Super Bowl and it does not happen. Injuries are major, and somebody's gonna get injured on every team. It's just too hard to believe that's not gonna happen. Um, and then you don't even know the full rosters of everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be a fool to say the Rams going to the Super Bowl. On paper, it looks like a good move, obviously, and all that type of stuff. But just because they got Myles Garrett, that don't mean they just going to the Super Bowl. Now, you got to play some games. They're not gonna go undefeated. Somebody gonna beat the Rams. You know what I'm saying. So I don't know. It's a good move, great move. If I had the chance to get Miles, the Rams did a great thing. They're trying to stack the deck. The Super Bowl is in their home stadium. The Super Bowl is in their city. I mean, yeah, they're going for it. And when you go get a guy like Garrett and put him on the team, that sends a message to the rest of the league saying, hey, we serious about this. We going for it. Can't blame them. I can't blame a team for saying that they're going to go for it. Let me pause this real quick because I didn't say it at the beginning. Let me pause for the calls real quick. Listen, if you want to enter the raffle for the CeeDee Lamb jersey, you can do that. For those of you that are on YouTube, you can use that super chat button there down at the bottom right. I guess if you're looking at me through your phone or whatever, you can use that super chat button. It has to be an entry of $5 though. It has to be an entry of $5. Obviously, the more that you put in, the more raffles you get. For instance, if it's $5, if you give $20, that's 4 entries into it. But 5 have to be that. If you're on Facebook, if you want to use those stars, make sure that it equals up to $5. I will see it. Or if not, you can use the Cash App as well. It's right there under on your left, my right there. Big time $ the big time show. That is the Cash App. $5 will get you a raffle ticket for the drawing of the CeeDee Lamb jersey that I'll have before the season begins. Try to make sure that I have it and give you a chance to have the jersey as well. Have you before week 1. That way you have your jersey. So we just have to see. But if you want to, you can hit it. Cash App is $5. You can do that. All right, back to it. I want to say this real quick. As I've always told you, that as much as we love the hiring and Christian Parker, mostly everybody's cool with that. Schottenheimer's a good coach, uh, and they've done the draft. You know, they did do some moves, but I always told you it's around this time here that the only people that gonna mess things up is Jerry and Steven. And as of now, they have proven me right again because of their stubbornness, because of um, their grit in holding on to their system and the way they do things. The Cowboys left again, looking around, saying, "What happened?" And once again, the Rams show that they could care less about picks. They could care less. They can care less about picks. They can care less about the future. All they're saying is we want to win right now. And we will give up whatever we have to do in order to get it. Now, some folks saying, well, give up a first round pick. Well, the Rams are saying, look, we're going to win about 10 plus ball games anyway. And especially if we're good as we think we are, the Rams saying we're going to win at least 11 to 12 games. So the pick that they would have in trading to Cleveland, they're already saying, look, that pick going to be about a 20, 26, 27 on down. That's essentially a second round pick. You ain't going to have 27 first round grades. See what I'm saying? So they could care less about a draft pick. They're saying we ain't gonna be in the top 10 anyway. We don't care nothing about that. Whoever your first round pick gonna be won't be better than Myles Garrett. That's what they're saying. We could care less. We don't care nothing about the draft. Whatever pick we got in the draft, that's what we're gonna roll with, and we'll add that person to our already stacked team. The Rams are saying, man, we're going for it. We don't have time to be trying to build towards something. We don't have time to build. We're trying to win. And the Dallas Cowboys, on the other hand, as I said, Jerry and Steven will mess up. You know how they messed up? Same way they have, but since we're a little bit more knowledgeable now, they got the wrong person doing the wrong job. Stephen Jones, who by now you should know has a whole lot of power. A lot of people want to blame Jerry, but it's not Jerry. It's Steven. Steven, when you start talking about a guy who's cheap and a guy who excels at trying to be the salary cap champion of the world, that is the wrong person that you need to be trying to fight in free agency for. Trying to do free agency when you have a mentality of getting mediocre and less players anyway. Their version of a gigantic move is, and no disrespect to them, but I'm just saying this is what they do. Their version of a real big move is Rashad Gary. The Rams saying we're going to get Myles Garrett. You see the difference? Myles Garrett, Rashad Gary. There's a difference. Rashad Gary is a ball player. I give him credit. Great player. He's a real good player. He ain't Myles Garrett. And what the Cowboys have shown, this is the reason why Steven need to get out of the way, man, is because while some of y'all are excited that the Cowboys did try to get Max Crosby, they did try to get Nakobe Dean. They did. They tried. They did. But here's what the issue is. When it was time to do a counter offer or it's time for them to do something, to go the extra mile, it's just not in them to do it. It's just like telling, it's just like, even though Floyd Mayweather was the undisputed world champion in his weight class, which is usually somewhere, he was primarily between welterweight and middleweight, junior middleweight. That's where Floyd is. Even though he's a world champion, and even though he was great, you wouldn't put Floyd in the ring with Tyson Fury. You wouldn't put Floyd in the ring with Ozek, whatever his name is, a heavyweight, because it's unfair. 270-pound men or 250 going against a buck 20, a buck 35 in Floyd. I mean, I know Floyd can slip punches and all that type of stuff, but he too small. In other words, he can't do the job because he's really not qualified to be in there. Floyd too small to fight a heavyweight. Well, guess what? Stephen Jones is too small-minded to be negotiating in free agency, especially on the first week of free agency. He will not do what it takes to go get the man. Don't even play in it. So the way that they like to play, they will always get the Rashad Garys. That's about their limit. And that's a good option. I mean, Rashad Gary's a good football player. But when you start talking about the Max Crosbys, the Myles Garrett, you're not going to do it with the mentality, because see, those type of deals require that you give up multiple picks. Problem number one, Cowboys love their picks. A Crosby requires you to give up 2 first-round picks. I'll get you Kels on that. I'm just saying it's just the truth. Cowboys value their picks. I know that Crosby's knee, there's still question marks about him, and that's fine. And maybe they gave, maybe Steven offered that, or Jared offered that, a first and a second at the end, in order because of the medicals. Maybe that is the case. But usually a guy like Crosby, a guy like Garrett, you got to, in order to get those, you got to sacrifice. You have to pay the price. And Stephen Jones' mentality, this just ain't built from this year. This is built from over the years. This is the same dude that jacked his daddy up for getting Deion Sanders when there was no salary cap. Y'all remember that story, right? Stephen Jones loves to look in the bank, or the quote-unquote proverbial bank of the salary cap, and say, we got a lot of money in there, and they never spend it. Really, I mean, they'll spend it on some, Walmart, Lay's potato chip free agents. They'll do that. They'll spend the money there. They will. And don't get it confused with the trades now. Yes, we got Pickens. Yes, we got Quentin Williams. Yes, we got Kenny Clark. Great players. Yes, but they were by trade. They don't, when I say when you got to go on a bidding war with other teams, and make no mistake about it, we done learned now, just through what we haven't gotten, that Christian Parker wants a stud for a pass rusher. And yes, even though he has Rashad Gary, even though he has Malachi Lawrence, and even though he has Donovan Izaraku, he still tried to get Max Crosby. I don't even think they were in the fight for Myles Garrett. I mean, but I'm saying Josh Sweat, they did make the call for Josh Sweat. That's been reported. That ought to tell you something. What it tell me is Christian Parker saying this, we can play ball, but this not enough. That's why he trying to go get Edge. Ever since Christian Parker's been here, they've been trying to get a standout edge player. Ever since Christian Parker got here, because Christian Parker has told these folks, I got to have a dude. I got to have a dude. Now, I know y'all like drafting. I know y'all love drafting, and that's fine. But I need a proven dude as an edge rusher. But the Cowboys mentality is, look, we do it by committee over here. That's what we do. We go get Jadeveon Clowney. We go get Dante Fowler. We keep Sam Williams. We get James Houston. We do it by committee. Yeah. They've even done it this year. It's a committee approach. And what Christian Parker is saying is, just by who you're hearing we're trying to get. Two for sure that you knew we made phone calls on. I don't even think Dallas was even in the fight for Myles Garrett at all. And if they did, they too cheap for Myles. You have to give up something. Cowboys ain't gonna do that. But we do know that they made the call looking around for Josh Sweat. And we do know that earlier we were trying to get Max Crosby. So that lets you know that Christian Parker is trying to get one of those dudes. Christian Parker would do it. Y'all not gonna help me in here. Christian Parker would. The Christian Parker mentality is, I need the best. Yeah, Myles would have been too pricey, no question. That's why they didn't make the call, no question about it. That's exactly what they would have said. He's been too pricey. And if you're in a rebuild like Cleveland is, then it's not too hefty of a price because you don't have no expectations of winning anyway. So yeah, let's start all over again. I get it. I get it. But the mentality is Christian Parker wants the best. And then when but Christian Parker is not at the negotiation table. Christian Parker is not calling the teams and saying, well, let's work this deal out. That's where things get messed up with us. Because the one that's on the phone is one of two people, maybe three. And there might be Will McClay in that as well, slightly. But it's primarily Steven and Jerry. And that's where it gets messed up. Because Steven's mentality in team building, that ain't matching your coaching staff. It's not. You're too cheap. You're not gonna do what it takes to get one of those guys. So because of that, they may have it already made up in their mind. They say, hey, we're gonna coach these guys up. We're going to coach up Malachi Lawrence. We're going to hope, y'all catch that, hope that Donovan Izaraku makes a jump. We're going to hope that Rashad Gary is Rashad Gary. So in other words, somewhere between 7 and 9 sacks, somewhere in there, which I think Rashad can do easily. And we're going to hope that Sam Williams catch fire and go. In other words, we're going to do this committee approach. It used to be the other way around, y'all. We used to be good on the outside, but then we were trash on the inside. Now it done flipped. They taking care of the inside, but they didn't want to go by committee on the outside. They used to go by committee on defensive tackles. Now it done switch. I'm just waiting for a year where they take care of the whole line. Urgency on the edge and urgency inside. They got an A in the inside. But this committee approach, that's what I'm saying. It's not, if Christian Parker had it his way, I guarantee you, Christian Parker would say, hey, man, give up them 2 firsts for Crosby. We'll wait on his knee. Cowboys already been waiting on folks for 2-3 years. They waited on Jalen Smith 2 years before he got his knee right. They waited on LVE with his bum neck. They waited on him to get right. They waited on Michael Gallup and then gave Michael Gallup money after he rehabbed. Now, see how that turned out. They waited essentially on Diggs. They waited on Bland. They waited on Sean Lee for years. They waited on Romo with his broke back. Listen, this ain't nothing new with waiting on folks. So the Cowboys believe that their medical staff can make a way out of any way. That's not the issue. The Cowboys will acquire a player and wait. They will do that. They will. We got too much history. It proves that. So that ain't nothing new. The problem with the Cowboys in free agency is it's the wrong people making the calls or who are negotiating with other teams. That's what the problem is. Stay out of free agency in week 1. If you got this church's chicken, Kentucky Fried Chicken mentality that we just want to get by, and stay out of week 1. Week 1 is where you overpay. Week 1 is where you overpay. The mentality is off. The mentality that Jerry and Steve, well, I keep calling Jerry, but what Steve and Jones have. The mentality that Steve and Jones have is for week 4 of free agency. When all the big dogs done got signed, when all of them have went away, now you get these bottom or, middle of the pack and down. That's what Stephen Jones come into play. Oh, he specialized there. That's what the issue is. That's why you can't get a Crosby. Christian Parker would have said, man, give up them 2 first-round picks. Malachi Lawrence, now you would have missed out on Downs. You would have missed out on Downs, but you would have had Max Crosby under lock and key, and you just had to wait on him. That's what the Packers doing with Michael Parsons. By mistake, it just is what it is. Just in case you ain't heard, Michael Parsons has already said that he's not going to be able to play until October. So he's going to miss the first few months coming off a knee injury. I would have waited on Max Crosby because I know what he is without it, when he's right. I would have waited on him. Yeah, you would have missed out on Caleb Downs, but you also would have missed out on Malachi Lawrence. I believe you would have took Myles Garrett over, Malachi Lawrence. No disrespect to Malachi Lawrence, but this is Myles Garrett we're talking about. Matter of fact, the real truth to be told, if you know football, you would have given up Caleb Downs and Malachi Lawrence if you knew you were getting Myles Garrett. I'm just saying. Even though we didn't have a chance at it. Stephen Jones does not do what needs to be done to go over the top. He does not. Does not. And that's the reason why I say we in trouble in the future, because this is the guy that's pretty much going to run the team once his father gives it up or he leaves this earth. And if this is the way that Stephen Jones going to run the team, we're going to be in big trouble. Which is why, unless Stephen Jones does something that would shock me, and the only way we would get out of it is if Stephen Jones would swallow his pride and say, I'm going to hire a GM unlike my father did. A real GM. That's the only way out. Because as long as Jerry and Steven are in control of player personnel, we will be forever frustrated. Jay, will remain to be seen, Jay. And I appreciate your optimism. And I'm not saying that they don't have it. I'm just going back to, because there are questions on why everybody keep advancing, but we don't, when we have the assets and the money to do so. And I'm just saying that it's a mentality that's been there for a long period of time. And what the fan base wants, the Cowboys will never do, because it's just not in them to go the extra mile. This is the first year that we know that they really went after a dude. I mean, like a real dude, like Crosby. And when it was time to put up or shut up, they weren't willing to go the extra mile. I'm not saying they should have. I'm just saying, in order to get a guy like that, you're going to have to pay a price. You got to sacrifice. What's up, Craig? Say, do you think we should have went after Garrett? No. No, they weren't going to go after Garrett because the real truth is Garrett is way too pricey for them now. And the Cowboys would not be willing to pay that type of price for it. I mean, even though Cleveland gave up a 2028, third round or whatever, you don't even know who that player is. We talking about that kid is a sophomore in college right now, or a junior. Like, really? Like, come on now. So they're just not they believe in the draft more than they do free agency. Let me put it that way. Or the quality of free agents, or difference makers in free agency. They don't believe in that. They believe in depth for free agency. That's what they believe. That's what Jerry and Steven believe. They believe they use free agency for depth. Okay. And I hear you, Jay. Jay saying that Jay's talking about the coaching staff and will be the difference, or the coaches will scheme them up to a point that they'll give us an advantage. Well, the jury is still out on it. Schottenheimer's offense was legit. I believe he was Schottenheimer. I believe he would score on anybody. It remains to be seen, as smart as Christian Parker is, no doubt. It remains to be seen, though, because he ain't done nothing yet. And I'm just wondering, until I see it, that's when I'll change my story. I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I don't believe that the Cowboys will be the 32nd ranked defense in the league, by no means. But I'm not going to sit here and act like that they're going to be the number 5 defense either. I don't know if that, it could happen, but I have to see it. Man, I gotta see it before I give that type of credit. And I'm fully aware of what was said last year. I'm fully aware that I know I've said it, that the Cowboys do not have to be a top 10 defense. If they would have just been 18th last year, we would have won at least 3 to 4 more games last year. So it ain't gonna take much. I looked this up the other day. I should have had this up for you today. I'm gonna read it, but I looked it up because I was just so interested. I think it's a very interesting stat, or stats per se. I want to see this. See if I still got it here. I don't have it here. Yeah, I do. Let me read this to you. I guess I'll close it out like this. Oh, no, that ain't what I'm looking for. In 2025, last year, the Cowboys defense forced opponents to punt 50 times in 17 games, which was tied for the third fewest punts forced in the league. Only the Colts forced fewer, which means when you average that out, the Cowboys defense made their offense punt the ball 3 times a game, which was 5th lowest in the NFL. The Cowboys offense only punted the ball 41 times last year. That's incredible, which was fewest in the league. The offense did so much damage that they only punted the ball 41 times. That's the fewest in the league last year. So they tell you the offense obviously was moving the ball. Okay? Let me show you what happened. The Houston Texans last year led the league in opponent punts force, 81. 81 punts. Cowboys was tied for 30th with 50. All right, watch this. Second place, which is more realistic, just show you how good Houston was on defense last year. The Patriots were second, and their number, they forced teams to punt 66 more times. 66, I'm sorry. 66 times. That's second in the league. That's second in the league. Cowboys were 50th. But let me make it even worse. The Las Vegas Raiders were 5th in the league, and they had 61. Cowboys only made teams punt the ball 50 times. That's 30th. So what does that tell you? What that means is when you add it all up, the Houston Texans made teams punt the ball 5 times a game. That's average. Cowboys were 3. That tells me that if the Cowboys in some of these games would have made the opponent punt at least 2 more times. 2 more times. Just 2. You know, a 3 and out here and there. A non-field goal attempt. If you just was stop letting the team score 35 against you, you would have won at least 4 more games. The Carolina game come to mind. The Arizona game come to mind. The Minnesota. Well, I mean, it's about 3 or 4 of them. The more I think about it, the Eagle game come to mind. I mean, the offense was legit. So I'm saying all they need just give us the ball a couple more possessions. That's all. So I'm saying I believe that Christian Parker can get the defense to do that. I'm believing that. I can see that. And you don't have to be the greatest defense in the world to get this done. If this offense does what we think, that's why I say if you're looking for a little optimism, that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking that this offense is going to do exactly what they are capable of doing. I think it's going to be hard to stop them. I believe they're gonna score a lot of points. And all the defense need to do is make the punt a punt. Stop somebody every now and then. I believe they're gonna do that. So I can easily see double-digit wins. I can see it. If the defense would just showed up just a little bit, they would have won at least 3 to 4 more games. We would have had a whole different perspective. Just simple stuff. Give me some 3 and outs, or if you just don't let them get past the 50, make them punt. I mean, just simple. I mean, I ain't saying simple, but I'm just. That's all I want. I'm not looking for them to be the number 1 defense in the league. I'm not looking for it to be a top 10. I'll take it if they top 10. I'll take it if they top 15 and above. Because I know what's going to happen then. Let me tell you something. If the Cowboys have a top tier offense, they don't even have to be number 1. Let's just say they're a top 5 offense. And if the Cowboys are at least 15th, man, the Cowboys going to win at least 12 games this year. I'm just saying. You're right, Marlon. They never made teams punt because the offense took them out of the game by getting up on folks so much, and they made them one-dimensional because back when Quinn was here, you look at the scoreboard, and after about 12 minutes, it's already 21-0 or 21-3. In other words, your offense became your defense. Exactly. We didn't get the turnovers. Exactly. That's just why I said if defense just show up. I mean, I ain't even mentioned turnovers, but I'm just saying if it's not a turnover, make them punt the ball. Get offense more possessions. Of course, turnovers do that. We already know all that. But I'm saying, look, you can't give up 30. You can't score 30 and give up 30. You just can't do it. You can't do it. I don't have that problem this year. I have full confidence that Christian Parker will get this defense way better than what they were last year. I don't have no problem even thinking that. I believe that. So I'm good with that point. My point is, though, as far as the people that keep asking me about what the Patriots and the Rams did, it's just not in the mentality. It's in the mentality of Jerry, but it's not in that's just not Stephen Jones, man. I don't know how many years we got to keep going through the same thing before everybody. I know y'all want hope, and I know y'all be asking for stuff that it's just not it's just not in the Stephen Jones DNA. It's just not. They build football teams differently. So if you want a little hope, this is stuff that the Cowboys do. Okay? The Cowboys will go and play ball and then go get on offense, we'll go get a 40-year-old Jason Peters and hope to catch lightning in a bottle. One more good run. Y'all remember that? All pro Jason Peters probably one day will have a Hall of Fame jacket on. But the Cowboys signed him and he was 40 years old. Lineman, offensive lineman. That's the kind of stuff the Cowboys do. So on that note, we'll sign an injured guy. We'll do that. We do. So this is probably what the Cowboys will do. It's obvious to me, and I think we all can agree on this, that Christian Parker wants a premier edge rusher. He came in looking for it. Max Crosby. I don't think we never thinking about Myles Garrett ever. We just heard that Josh Sweat put on his wish list and Dallas wasn't on his wish list. We just heard that. He don't want to play in Dallas. Matter of fact, the Cardinals said he's not getting traded now. But before they made that statement, They went in. I mean, his wish list was that the Cowboys weren't on it. It was the Eagles, and it was oh God, the Eagles weren't first; they were second. Eagles and it was an NFC East NFC team. I'm sorry. It was two teams that he wanted on his wish list. Cowboys weren't it. Cowboys did make a call. Why do you think the Cowboys made a call? Because they want a premier edge rusher. That's what Christian Parker wants. Forget who in the locker room. For him to even be inquiring about Josh Sweat, that lets you know that he wants a premier dude on edge. Okay, so since you're not going to get that, you ain't going to trade because you ain't going to do what it takes to get it anyway. So now you got to go to the old free agency thing. Okay? All right. So this is where I believe the Cowboys might make it. It was Green Bay. Thank you, Marlon. It was Green Bay and Philly. Those were the two teams that Josh Sweat wanted to go to. One Dallas. So everybody for weeks been saying Josh Sweat to the Cowboys, and content creators were making all this type of stuff, and Josh Sweat could care less about the Dallas Cowboys. He did not want to come here. So everybody was wrong on that. The fan base want that too, but the Cowboys ain't picking up. Well, they did pick up the phone. But once they heard about all that, the Cowboys did the right thing. Get on out of here. Okay, good. I really believe, and based off of the past, the way the Cowboys operate, I would not be surprised if two names aren't in play. And we got plenty of time because they will not need training camp and they don't want to go. And the Cowboys love going to get old players and try to catch lightning in a bottle. I believe that the name Joey Bosa and Von Miller are in play. Because they want an edge. And they want a dude that can flat out get to the quarterback. I think Von Miller fits that. Von Miller had 9 sacks last year in a limited role. And I love my brother Jay Brown on here because Jay is a football guy. Marlon is a football guy. Oh, yeah, William is. You say, so I'm going to ask a question. Is Matthew Stafford mobile? Nope. He can make some plays on his legs, but he's not primarily that guy. He said he has to get rid of the ball quickly if he isn't. Scheme stops that and limits big plays. He may not be mobile, but this is what he is. He is the MVP of the National Football League. And the reason why he's the MVP of the National Football League because he tore knot holes in the folks last year. He did. Seattle schemed him up. But here's the thing, though, Jay. And I guess this is where your belief and mine kind of separate. Even though Seattle did not have the dude, the difference between Seattle and Dallas is that Seattle had a bunch of B+ committee guys. Cowboys had Sam Williams. Cowboys had Dante Fowler, who didn't do nothing. The best 2 rushers on our team last year was Clowney and James Houston. It wasn't Izaraku. It wasn't Dante Fowler. It was James Houston and Jadeveon Clowney. Now, are they B+ players? Nah. Seattle had a plethora of B/B+ guys. If you want to say it was a committee, it was the best of the committee. That's the difference. I don't know about the talent yet. I know what Barham did in Michigan. I'm a Michigan Wolverines fan. I know what he did in Michigan. But I also know what Schoonmaker did in Michigan too. Schoonmaker was awesome in Michigan. He ain't done nothing in the league. I'm just saying. I have to see it first by Barham. This is not Northwestern he's playing. Veronica Harper. You see all these stars behind me back there? Don't you see that? Just look at my screen and then ask yourself that question again. I think I got a little, I mean, come on now. I'm just an honest Cowboy fan. That's all. Um, um, the Cowboy. Look, if we're gonna go to committee approach, just give me the best of the committee. That's all I'm asking for. I ain't got no problem with the way you're trying to build it. I mean, you could build another way, but if this is the way you're gonna do it, give me the best. Don't give me the bottom of the barrel free agents. Go give me a tier 2, tier 3 guy. Somebody that can make some plays. I ain't got time for the UFL. I don't have time for undrafted free agents. And I ain't got time for that. Not now. You also have, Cameron Jordan out there still, who still wants to play. Older guy again, but probably gonna do some damage. I'm just saying that give me the best of the committee. All them people that William Kill just said, those Seahawks guys, but they're to me, those are B players. Yeah. Give me the best. You ain't gonna have to trade you ain't got to trade premium picks. It's not gonna cost you an arm and a leg to get guys like this no more. They're older. You're not gonna have to pay them a whole lot of money. Go ahead and look, since you're not gonna you ain't gonna trade to get the real big dog, and they just about all gone now. So you're not gonna do that. There is one that's still out there that is kind of unhappy from what I'm hearing, and that's Kayvon Thibodeau from the Giants. Now, I don't think the Giants will do anything to help Cowboys at all, especially like that. I just don't see that happening. But I think Thibodeau could be on his way out the door. You got Abdul caught on one end who can play, and then you got Brian Burns on the other end. Thibodeau is kind of like, man, now he's too small to play inside. Now, if you want to flip it and say Abdul Carter is on, I doubt it, but you never know once you get, stuff that's outside the locker room, as much power as they done gave President Trump. President Trump is gangsterizing the United States of America. He got the Supreme Court in his pocket. He got the whole Republican Party in his pocket. They so scared of him because they know if they go against them, their political career is over. I wouldn't be surprised President Trump, because he's done it all. I wouldn't be surprised if he called Mr. Mayor or whatever his name is. The Giants say, hey man, get Abdul Carter off this football team. Get him off. I like Jackson Dart. Get him off. I look, you'd be surprised what people would do for President Trump. I mean, he's J.R. Ewing. His reach goes beyond Washington, D.C. And there are owners that of the league that he all know. He knows them all. And I say they got Thibodeau and Carter, but I just thought about it. It just hit me like, I don't know. President Trump is already kissed Jackson Dart, saying like he kissed him in the mouth. He's so handsome, he said. He's so pretty and all that type of stuff. I guarantee you, at some point, he going to have something to say about Abdul Carter, or he going to lean toward it. And President Trump, as we know, is going to say something like, well, I don't even know why you want somebody like that on your football team. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. And if he say that, I wouldn't be surprised if Abdul Carter is on the trading block. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying he is. I'm not a Giant fan. I'm not a Giant podcaster. I'm just saying I know how this stuff works. And I know our president. And I know some of our sports owners are got the man number on speed dial. I'm just saying. I said they don't like Thibodeau, but they may just not like they may just not like Abdul Carter in the locker room now. Let me tell you something. Everybody talking about Jackson Dart, and I ain't finna go here because we're going political now, and I don't even want to start that on my show because some of y'all like President Trump, and then some of y'all don't. So but I'm just gonna say this. Forget Jackson Dart. The head coach of the Giants loves Donald Trump too. What you think he's thinking about when Abdul Carter did this? And we all know how tight of a locker room Harbaugh likes. Come on now. Politics and religion cannot survive in a locker room. And you listen to that from a preacher. Because politics and religion leaves no middle ground. You got to choose one or the other. And with your choice, it's going to cause a problem with somebody else. In the case of politics these days, the middle ground is we think it's wrong. The other side say we believe it's right. And when you start talking about racial issues that some of these policies, obviously, that are going in, that some of these policies cover, then now we got to say, okay, one side of the locker room says we cool with it. But then you got the brothers who are millionaires, but they black. And they got a problem because they see President Trump as a guy who really don't care too much about black folks. Now, I'm just telling you it's obvious that's what they think. That's why Abdul Carter say that. And if you don't think that don't cause division in a locker room, all of y'all that play sports like me, you know that it's just some things you just don't allow in the locker room. And what I'm saying is Abdul Carter and his stands, they may consider him a problem, even though the locker room is probably 90% black. But there's some black brothers on there that voted for President Trump too. That is a problem in that locker room. They can hug each other and all that stuff and all that. And then President Trump with his slick self, boy, I tell you, man, look, somebody gonna make a lot of money off doing President Trump's documentary or movie or whatever, Netflix series. Whoever writes that is gonna do that one show and ain't gonna do no other show because they're gonna be a billionaire. There's been nobody like this dude. And President Trump knows how to put gasoline on a fire without saying stuff. You want to know how he did it? He gonna say this right here. It's just like the NBA Finals. President Trump done talk bad about the NBA for the last almost 8 years or so. Now all of a sudden, he's saying that he gonna attend the New York Knicks game in the finals when they come to New York. All this whole it ain't look, all the blacks, all the NBA is what? Jesus. 95% black. The NBA has made the players have made it well known what they feel about him and respect to the office of President of the United States. But you know that them folks don't want that man in their building. I wouldn't be surprised if because he's a native New Yorker now. He's a native New Yorker. He said he's been a Knicks fan. I actually believe him. But I also can see him saying, I'm gonna be there that Sunday night when the Cowboys come to town for week 1. Because I'm gonna support my guy, Jackson Dart. Knowing that the Giants gonna be divided. I wouldn't be surprised if President Trump said, let me visit the locker room. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. It's crazy, man. So I'm saying all this to say I wouldn't be surprised if it's such a problem that the Giants say, hey, we just gotta get rid of him. We'll keep Thibodeau instead, and we just gotta get rid of Carter. I wouldn't be surprised because that ain't gonna heal quick. That's not. Because Jackson Dart believes on whatever he believes in, and Abdul Carter believes in what he believes in, and he is not going to change. And Jackson Dart is not going to change. Jackson Dart can erase all, which is what he did. He can erase all of his Instagram from 2023 and all that type of stuff. Now you understand why he went to Ole Miss. Well, I better leave this alone. Now you understand why Jackson Dart went to Ole Miss, right? We all know the reputation of Ole Miss, right? I wonder why Jackson Dart had to erase all this stuff off his Instagram account. Why did he? His support for Donald Trump and policies and stances that he made. Why he had to erase his page? Erase all this stuff from 2023 and up. Why Jackson Dart had to do that? Okay. See, he ain't going nowhere. So you can erase all what's on the outside, but what's on the inside what counts. So Jackson Dart believes what he believes, and Abdul Carter believes what he believes. And that's going to be a problem at some point in the locker room. It's going to happen. Jameis Winston can come out and try to be the savior all he want to. Not going to work. It's not going to work. You see how they ran Tim Tebow out of the locker room? All because he said he believed in Jesus Christ. You see how that worked out for him, right? Oh, okay. I know he couldn't play, on the NFL level, but I'm saying, you know how it was. They got offended because he bowed down after he scored a touchdown. It's bent on his knee. Religion and politics don't work in the league. It just don't. It don't. It never has. It never will. Never will. Now, let's go back. I believe, I'm sorry I went there, but hey, I'm just going. Now, listen. I believe since the Cowboys love the committee approach, this is just me. You don't have to agree. I'm just going based off of what I've seen, the willingness for Cowboys to sign older players, the willingness for them to sign guys that are injured, and that they are cheap. Based off that, I can see the Cowboys getting either Cam Jordan, I can see them getting Joey Bosa, I can see them getting Von Miller. I can see it. I can see it. Based on what you've seen in the last 10 years, I believe that the Cowboys got their eyes set on one of those three guys to pair them along with the committee. Now, in fairness, in a case like Von Miller, if Von Miller come in here and get you 9 sacks like he did last year, with Buffalo, I believe. You ain't mad at that at all. You are super happy. You are ecstatic, actually. Von Miller getting 9 sacks in Dallas, he may add another Pro Bowl to his resume. I'm just telling the truth. I'm not mad at that at all. The idea, and let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let's go to the football field now. Let's go to the football field. Vaughn ain't losing that first step. Vaughn gonna be 50 years old and can still got the best first step in the league. He just blessed. He's gifted in that area. That's the reason why he's there now. Vaughn is a ball. He can't do all the snaps that he used to, but you make him a specialty guy. So based off that, let's go to the grass. Let's go to the football field. Okay. Von Miller. Let me sum it up. There is no offensive coordinator that will be comfortable letting one of your tackles go one-on-one with Von Miller, even today. There's just no way. Now, let me put a caveat in that. Now, if you got somebody like Trent Williams, you might feel a little bit more comfortable. Trent Williams, of course, the offensive tackle for the 49ers. If you got him, you'll feel a little bit more comfortable. I don't know if you ain't going one-on-one with Vaughn the whole game. Say, Trent, you got him. No, you ain't even do that. But the idea of having Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark, and Von Miller on the field at the same time, who you gonna double team? Seriously. Who you gonna double team? If you let Vaughn go one-on-one with a tackle 10 times, I guarantee you 6 out of those 10, if he ain't brought the quarterback down, he gonna be that close. Now, I'm just giving you the most dangerous one. Joey Bosa, if we go get Joey Bosa, the first thing they need to do, so that's in Dallas. I know a lot of preachers in Dallas. So we need to call Bishop Jakes. We need to call his son-in-law, his daughter. We need to call Joseph Williams, Bishop Joseph Williams. I even borrowed some from Houston. Go get Reverend Terry Anderson, Dr. Ralph West. Bring them all to Dallas. When Joey Bosa get there, soon as he get off the plane or off the bus, first of all, make sure that somebody's standing right there at the steps, because if Joey Bosa just land wrong, he get injured for 5 weeks. Y'all know that. Somebody need to just don't even let him step on the ground. Just pick him up, carry him in the building. Get all the preachers, because all of them, I'm instruct all of them to have oil with them. I'm believing the Bible now. We gonna pray over Joey Bosa's body. His first thing is not to have a press conference. First thing he do, tell Joey, come on here and lay down, Doc. Come on, lay down. Come on, lay down. Right on this table. Just lay down. Keep your clothes on. Just keep your clothes on. Okay? Now, for y'all that don't believe in it, y'all just stand outside the door. But we need prayer for Joey Bosa's body, because he always hurt. We need him to last at least 9 games. That's just half. Just give me half of a season. Get me, and those 9 games need to be in at the end of the year in playoffs. We need joy. If you're gonna get joy, you got to have prayer. Okay, I'm talking about every practice, every game, every team meeting, because you climb steps. You might twist your ankle, you be out 10 weeks. We need prayer for Joey Bosa. If you're gonna get him now, you need prayer. Okay. If you like, but Joey Bosa, if he on the field, he's still a weapon, but he don't scare me like Von Miller do. So I say that. Cam Jordan will get you double-digit sacks too if you go one-on-one. He not Vaughn, but he dangerous. He's not Von Miller, but he dangerous. I'm just telling you. But you have to be, with all three of them, they would have to be specialty players. You don't want neither one of them in. You might could do Joey Bosa in for run plays. Cam too, but you don't want to make a real habit out of that. But on 3rd and 5 and up, oh my God. Oh my God. 3rd and 7? Oh, yes, sir. Come on in here, Vaughn. Let's go to work. And that would be the best of both worlds. You get a premier guy who still have premier moments. How about that? Von Miller can get you 8+ sacks, even in a limited role. And you wouldn't have to pay for him a whole lot. Same thing with Bosa and Jordan. Same thing. You won't have to pay a lot, and you'll get some premier moments out of some guys who probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. All three of them. We don't know about Bosa. Bosa been hurt too much to be talking about Hall of Fame. Cam got over 100 sacks. He's going to the Hall of Fame one day. Vaughn is going to the Hall of Fame. So you're going to have Hall of Fame moments with those guys. And it's a committee, because you're not saying we want you to be an all-pro. We just want you to do what you always done and do that. That's what that means. I don't have a problem with that, because I know that they'll produce. Unless they hurt, of course. I would take that. I would take Von Miller or Cam Jordan. You know, I keep saying Bosa, but the more I think about it, man, just stay hurt too much for me. But if you sign them, you know, we got to pray. I would take them. I would take any one of those three, and that's and those are the best of the committee right now. I ain't waiting for no 51-day cuts, and you give me a tier 3 guy and all that kind. I don't want that. I don't want just another committee guy. Give me somebody just above the committee, but still is a part of the committee. I want the best of the committee. And Cam and Vaughn and Joey are the best of the committee that's left. It ain't signed nowhere. Bertie, you say Vaughn won't be cheap. It depends on what. Verdi, give me your number then, and I'll tell you if that's cheap or not, because we got money. Tell me your number, Verdi. Just type in the million. Tell me what you think it'll cost. Whatever it is, I don't. Even if it is, if it's 10, that ain't nothing. 8, that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing, Verdi. Then you get to do the contract the way you do it. So you'll do something like a 2-year, probably 15, 16 million, and you'll probably say, you might just say 8 of it is guaranteed. You'll get a clause to say you can get out of it the following year. Give them a signing bonus. Give them something. Shoot, just get it. That ain't nothing. If it's $8 million a year, that ain't nothing. Angie, what's up? Angie, rebel chick, she love me after all. She always, that's me and Angie thing. I say, Angie don't love me. She don't love me. She showed up for me. I appreciate your answer. $8 million ain't nothing, though, Verdi. It's nothing. That ain't nothing. And that's respect. See, a guy like that who just had 9 sacks last year, Von Miller, that's actually cheap. I was saying 10. The Cowboys would love $8 million. That's respect. Seriously. There you go, William. There you go, William. That's without a doubt what it would be. It would be an incentive-based contract. It would be. They'll say he can make $8 million and you can make up to maybe 10. I would bump up that number. Since he got 9 last year in a limited role, I would bump that number up to maybe about 14 or 13 or something. Make him really have to reach, get that extra million. He got 9 last year. I mean, come on now. 10 sacks ain't nothing. Not to him. Von Miller is still capable, very capable, of giving 10. I think that's light. I would like to know. I think Vaughn was hurt last year, if I'm not mistaken. And that very well may be the reason why he didn't get to 10. He had 9. I don't know. Somebody need to look that up. How many games? Let me see. I want to know how many games did Vaughn play last year. Don't worry about it. I'm looking it up myself. And if he played under, and this will be very interesting here. What's up, Timo? This is very interesting because see, if I see something crazy, I'm gonna say, hey man, we need to get Von Miller right now. I'm just looking it up now. Y'all hold on. Give me that. Because this is very interesting to me. Oh shoot, I'm knocking Vaughn down. Oh, I'm taking it back. I was wrong. Okay. He played in 14 games last year. He was absent in week 4, 8, and 9. He had 21 tackles, 7.5 sacks, not 9, 1 forced fumble. That sounds like a committed guy to me, don't it? And half the games he played, he averaged 7.5 in 14 games. It sounds like Rashad Gary to me, don't it? Give me the best of the committee. So I'm gonna take the number down now, Verdi. I'm gonna have to take that number down now. He will be cheap. I'm shocked he played 14 games though. That's pretty good. Give me Von Miller for 14 games with Quinn Williams and Kenny Clark and watch what happens. Watch what happens. I bet you that 7.5 goes up to double digits because you got to make a decision on who you going to double because you are not going to go one-on-one with Quinn Williams and Kenny Clark and Von Miller on the field at the same time. You will not. Somebody got to get doubled. And whoever it is that's left going one-on-one, it's going to be a problem. Kenny Clark one-on-one, I'll take my chances. If you decide to double up Vaughn, Quinn Williams one-on-one, I'm taking my chances. Yeah, give me Von Miller. I'm on the train now. Thank y'all for that. Now I'm really for calling for it now. 14 games last year, and you know he was limited. You know he wasn't out there, first down, second down, third down. He wasn't. No. He wasn't doing all that. He probably was a specialist. Bring him here and let him have the same role, a specialist. Telling you now, Vaughn would be a great move for the Cowboys this year. Since we ain't going to get one of the big dogs, come on, give me this Hall of Fame, dude. Still obviously got gas in the tank. Yeah, give me Von Miller. I'm giving up on Max Crosby. I knew we weren't gonna get no Myles Garrett, and that he wasn't even on the radar anyway. I know we're not getting Josh Sweat. Man, look, come on down a notch. Let's get into Stephen Jones' world. Von Miller is a great deal at this point. You talking about you got 1 or 2 years left? It fits. Go for it. Give me Von Miller. I'll take it. I'll be happy. I would. I ain't for to shout and go completely berserk, but I like the idea of Vaughn being on the field with Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark at the same time. And I ain't going, and I don't want to disrespect Izaraku either. Izaraku on the other side of that. All 4 of them on there. Let's go play football. Let's go play football. That's damage. That's damaging. Seriously. That would create a mismatch somewhere because you got to make a decision as an offensive coordinator. You got a game plan against all them. I mean, you gonna let Donovan Izaraku go one-on-one. That's what's gonna happen. You're gonna always let Izaraku go one-on-one. Izaraku got to step up. He gonna have to show everybody that he ready now. Izaraku gonna have to show it. Now, Izaraku wake up, it's really finna be a problem. And you tell me I got Von Miller and Quentin and Kenny Clark with Izaraku, if Izaraku step up, and Vaughn, oh shoot. Oh shoot. Hello? What? Man, look. If y'all listen to me. Listen to me, y'all. Y'all see it? That's why y'all quiet right now. I know y'all were hung up on and Magos, Garrett and all that. Listen, there's still some legitimate weapons out here that when you pair it with what we have, it looks even better. Von Miller looks extremely attractive to me. I ain't even get hung up on them because I know how they are. But I know that's worth talking about. And who knows? Maybe the Cowboys have already been doing talking. Who knows? Guys like that don't want to come to training camp. They don't want that. They don't need it. They ready to go. They know what it takes. So it's going to be a late year signing anyway. When training camp over with. That's when all that going to go down. Who knows? Maybe they've already talked to people like that. And since we know Christian Parker wants edge, since we know he wants edge, it's obvious. Then there are a few guys out there that can cause some damage. I just named 3 of them: Bosa, Von Miller, Cam Jordan. Seriously. I guess I need to look up Cam Jordan real quick now that I'm thinking about it. See, I'm not a Saint fan, so I don't keep up with the Saints and what they do. I don't keep up with that. Cameron Jordan play. Y'all forgive me, I'm doing things on the fly here. Y'all hit that like button, man. Hit that Cash App button there too. You get $5 for the entry for the CD Lamb jersey if you do the Cash App, or $5 on Stars on Facebook. If anybody wants to enter that, $5 per entry for that. Oh, shoot. Ooh. Hey, y'all. Hey, man. Wait a minute, man. Clown is still in the loop. I ain't bring him in. Clown is a good fit. But there are even better options than that. Look at this. Cameron Jordan of the New Orleans Saints played in all 17 regular season games in 2025 and started all 17. Oh my God. He finished with 47 tackles, 10.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. Ladies and gentlemen, let me read that one more time for the March of Dimes. Cameron Jordan of the New Orleans Saints played in all 17 regular season games in 2025 and started all 17. He finished with 47 tackles, 10.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. I know we're not Saints fans, but we all know who Cameron Jordan is. Cameron Jordan is going into the Hall of Fame. How old is Cameron Jordan? He's 36 years old. June 4th is his birthday, which is today. So he's 37. Hello. Cam Jordan at 36 years old got 10.5 sacks last year. And he played all games. Translation, he didn't get hurt. Ladies and gentlemen, I still take Vaughn because he's so dynamic with it. But I wouldn't be mad if we got Cameron Jordan. I mean, can I interest you in 10.5 sacks? One man? Can I interest you in a guy that played 17 games? Okay, so if my wish list now, since it's obvious to me that, we're on a committee approach, give me the best of the rest of the committee. Now, Verdi, this is what I will say about Cameron Jordan. Cam Jordan would demand more money than Von Miller would. See, we're not Saints fans, so we don't get really the proper respect that he deserves. But Cam, let me see, how many sacks? Cameron Jordan is a Hall of Fame football player. See, we're not Saints fans, so we don't pay attention to that. But if you're a football fan, you know who he is. Oh shoot! Oh my God! See that? See, and I'm a football guy, and I know who he is. I know he's a great football player. I just don't pay attention to his stats. But at the end of the 2025 season, Cameron Jordan had 132 regular season sacks. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, whether you like him or not, he's a great football player. He is a walking gold jacket. And if I'm not mistaken, a guy like that would try to do whatever he got to do to sign back with the team that he played for his whole life, which is the Saints. But just in case he don't, look, Go knock at the door or something. He a free agent right now. Got a $5 super chat. Thank you. Is that my girl? Is that Angie? No, that ain't Angie. This Verdi. Verdi, I believe this is you. She said, yeah, we know who Jordan is. Exactly. I mean, in case you didn't, you know now. I mean, I still would want Miller because he's just so dynamic. And that's the kind of guy that I feel like one-on-one gonna win a lot. Jordan is a lot bigger, great at pass rush and the run, but he's not as dynamic as see, Miller scares me. Von Miller is a scary. Yeah, I got you, V. Yeah, I figured it was you. Thank you for that. And I'm gonna put you in for Verdi. Since I got you here, I need to know, you in here with mostly men? No, I got one other lady in here. I'm looking at my list now. And since you in now, you'll get that. I need to know what size you would wear if you were to win the jersey. See, I hate to get maybe I just need to wait until a certain time. I need to cut it off and just go ahead and just order it now to make sure you get it before. I hate to say, what would you wear in a men's? I'm just asking. And you don't have to, because if I have to, that's why I may need to cut it off early just in case one of the females win. That way I can get your jersey size and I ain't got to worry about it. So what size do you wear? Let me know that real quick, because I'm going to mark that down just in case. Let me know. Give me Vaughn, and if you're not going to get Vaughn, give me Jordan. That's the way I feel about it. I see somebody say Hassan Reddick. Reddick stayed hurt too much. He had that one big year. Ain't heard nothing from him since. Not saying he's not capable. And Marlon said something very interesting here that I think is an extra benefit. Not saying that Cam Jordan can't, but right here, exactly. Can you imagine Izaraku and Lawrence sitting at the feet of Von Miller learning stuff? You don't think that would help them? And they're kind of the same player type. Both of them kind of, if you say, well, who do they look? I ain't saying they look like. Do they resemble more Von Miller or do they resemble more Cameron Jordan? They both resemble Von. They lean toward Von Miller, the way that he plays. I agree with that 1,000,000%, Mark. That is a great point, actually. A great point. That is a great point. I don't know, Vert. I'm gonna put all your names in the hat and just pick. I just don't know. Inbox me, Vert, since you're on Facebook. Inbox me. Are you my personal friend? Well, it makes no difference. If you're on Big Time Show channel, you can inbox me on that. I'll get it. And if you're my personal friend, with my actual name on my personal page, inbox me your size. You're right. Don't put it here. Inbox me your size. And that way I'll know what it is just in case you win. And then I know what to order for real. All right. I've been on here a while. That's really all I came to say. It's obvious that Christian Parker wants edge, and he wants a stud. You don't want another committee guy. He already got them. He already got the committee guys. He wants a guy that can flat out go get it. I just named 2 guys for sure that I know can go get it. Still. Makes sense to me. Unless, now let me do one last bit of hopeism here. Hope them for you. Okay? Here it is. What if the Cowboys double back and call the Raiders again? Because if you once wanted to trade Max Crosby before, you want to trade, you will trade him again. What if the Cowboys call? The price would go down now. The price would go down now. It won't cost you 2 first-round picks and all that. That's past. Plus, he's still recovering. So the price would go down for Max. But would the price be too steep enough that the Cowboys would fall flat on their faces and swing and miss again? That's the question. What? And I'm not saying I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm just saying, but I believe if they wanted to trade him before, they would trade him again. I just believe that. I believe it. What if the Cowboys did that? What if there was a chance that we can get Max after all? I'm gonna play that hope them game with y'all. All right. Y'all take it easy, man. I've been on a while. I enjoyed this. Y'all made my day right here. Okay. Appreciate y'all. Listen, hit that like button as you go out. I'll be with y'all. I'm out of school. Praise God for the summer. So I will be coming with y'all a whole lot now between now and when we go back and all that type of stuff. So be looking for me. Turn on those live notifications wherever you're watching me from so that you will know when I am coming on. I'll be with you guys. Got a lot of stuff going. You'll see me everywhere, from the DC universe to me and Amp and the Cowboys OGs. Then of course my show by itself. Y'all gonna be seeing a lot of me, so I'm coming on strong for these next few weeks. All right. Now I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good rest of the evening. I'll open up the call lines next time. But I'm tired now. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the one and the only, the Big Time Show.